Well, you might have noticed on this channel, I haven't done as many hot off the press videos as I have in the past, and I wanted to apologize for that. I was working on my new main channel, A Dusty Life, where I can explore other things other than just the Lexus brand. But with that in mind, I figured in today's video, let's catch up on some Q&As that I haven't gotten to in a while. I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. Make sure you hit like and subscribe for more Lexus related content. Okay, so getting into things here, let's start with the first comment, which we're starting off hot. I'm excited about this one. It says, Dustin, is the Mark Levinson sound system worth it? The reason I find this to be perfect timing is because two reasons. One is the IS that I'm driving now, which I'll do a video on next week, does have the Mark Levinson sound system. In fact, in my opinion, one of the best versions of that sound system. And two, I did just have the pleasure of meeting one of the staff members from Mark Levinson to really deep dive into what that brand is all about. In fact, some cold hard facts for us here. Still to this day, I mean, maybe almost, the cheapest way to get a Mark Levinson sound system is actually in a Lexus, because usually those sound systems, even just the receiver or the amplifier, are tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, a lot of times they even range to like $80,000. So having it in a Lexus is very, very important to us. And also too, it was interesting to learn that Mark Levinson isn't necessarily just an audio brand, it's more of like a technology brand. And their claim to fame actually comes from like the circuitry and the clarity of the sound processing. And that's what really made them stand out in the market. So depending on what music you listen to and how you listen to it, I'm finding with some of my favorite songs, even if they're like a hip hop song from like the 2000s, I'm hearing extra detail in those audio tracks. And these are songs I've listened to for like years and years and years, so it's not like it's brand new to me. But with the Mark Levinson sound system, I am hearing a little bit extra detail. So in my opinion, depending on the music you listen to, it's definitely worthwhile because that is a brand that is so unlike, you know, all the other premium audio sound systems out there. And to buy one for your house would be like the same price as a Lexus. So you might as well get it in a Lexus. What is happening with the IS? Is it discontinued? Again, great, because I'm driving an IS right now. So this is a great timing for this question. So a couple things are happening. Yes, Lexus announced the IS 500 and the IS 300 for 2026 are going to be canceled. With that said, for 2026, we're just gonna have an IS 350, which is like the last hurrah of that platform as we get ready for the new platform, which will be, I think, 2027. It's not official yet. And in that platform, we're gonna see a hybrid, we're gonna see an EV, we're gonna see more horsepower. And from what I can tell, the IS will still have that fun sports sedan personality. It's not just gonna be a hybrid like a Prius. It's gonna be a fun to drive hybrid. I'm telling you, in my next video, I'm gonna deep dive into what I'm enjoying about this one. And I am sad to see it go. Let's put it that way. Hi Dustin, I love your videos. They are so helpful. Please explain why not to bump start the car from under the hood on a hybrid. Absolutely, you can. Like, I've seen it done. A lot of tow truck drivers will do it this way. The reason why at my dealership we don't do it is because there is more room for error. And that usually comes from the grounding part. So if you ground that other terminal too close to any of the modules under there, like especially on the right side of the engine when you're looking at it, you can fry some components. So doing it on the actual battery is just the safest. We have a positive, we have a negative. We're going right to the source instead of with risk doing the circuitry. And I'm not saying this just as a hypothetical. We did have about 10 circuit boards that we had to replace when the new UX got announced or came out in like 2019 or whatever it was, because one of our senior sales staff was doing it wrong. So just keep that in mind. The safest way is in the trunk. That's all. It's not like it's the official way, but it's the safest way. Hi Dustin, is luxury tax included on the LX models on the Lexus site? As of right now, the last time I checked, yes. I'm not sure when this video is gonna come out. I'm not sure if Lexus is gonna change it from then, but as of right now, it is included. And I think you can even do a breakdown on that, but you can fact check me on that. Hi Dustin, I was wondering when the 26 RX is coming out. Yes, it is coming out soon. Probably gonna be late fall. Usually that's when we see the retooling for that. Maybe mid-fall. Definitely I have another order of 25 RXs coming in. And for 26, there really isn't much change. Couple package, moving some stuff around, but nothing crazy. I know with AI and all the fake news on the internet, you might look up a 2026 RX and have like this crazy redesigned spaceship looking thing. It's not. It's going to be the same as the 25, just with a couple minor tweaks. I'm away for winter for longer than 3 months and living in a condo. To maintain the battery charge, it is okay to connect the battery and reconnect when I'm back. I probably want to ask which car. I guess my official Lexus dealership stance is supposed to say probably leave that battery connected. If it's like an IS and it's not a hybrid, you could probably do that. But we like having those connected services on there. Like if you're away for 3 months, it'd be kind of nice if your phone can tell you if that car got broken into or stolen or anything like that. So I'd probably keep it connected, but that's a hard one to say. I heard the RX version has a knee heater when you turn on the heated seat, also comes out of the steering wheel. Can you confirm? Okay, so there is, like for instance, on any of the plug-in hybrids or even our regular hybrids, I think you can get an accessory that's similar to what you're describing here. It's kind of like a cabin heater. I know a lot of the Northern Ontario and Quebec guys really like it. It doesn't necessarily come from the factory, but you can get an accessory that's like that. Okay, here's one from the GX video. What do you mean by the Lexus L logo is heated? What's the purpose of that? I used to joke that the purpose of that heated emblem, which you can see here, used to be just so, you know, in the snowstorm, everybody can see that you're driving a Lexus, but really, it's because we have sensors in there. The radar cruise control sensor is in there, some pre-collision stuff is in there, so keeping that clear of ice is super, super important. Does the IS 350 2021 and up have connectivity like the NX and the ES? Yes and no. So Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is not wireless. However, a lot of the new ISs do have it, you just gotta plug in. And it still does have connected services. You can still remote start it, unlock it, all that stuff. Maybe not as far back as 21, I have to look, but definitely the newest versions do for sure. And then when we see that get redesigned, we'll see even more tech kind of get into that model. Are satin black wheels an option on the IS 350? I've seen very few that have it and mainly see it on the IS 500. I think the 500 and the IS 350 fully loaded like F3 wheel are a little bit different, but they are both blacked out. It was a BBS wheel at one point. I think it still is the BBS wheel. So yeah, if you get that F3, you can get like that darker wheel. Which one is better, IS 350 or NX 350? Oof, great question. I'm on the IS train right now. I do really like it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Again, more on that later. However, by far the NX 350 is more popular because it fits into a wider spectrum of people's lifestyles. Still fun to drive, still, you know, utility, it's higher riding. Where this is low to the ground, it's got a small back seat, you know, it does check different boxes. But for right now, my official answer is I love the IS 350, I would go with that. Is the LFR coming? Yes. Next question. Just kidding. So yes, Lexus and Toyota just announced their sport concept vehicles, which looks to be more, what's the word, tangible than the last LFR or LFA replacement vehicle concept that came out a couple years ago. This time I'm seeing some design language that even reminds me of the Lotus Emira, which has a Toyota engine, you might remember. So that's interesting on those hood lines and stuff like that. So it does look to be coming. Now that sport concept that did just come out, there's also speculation that that could be the LC-RC replacement, and maybe it's not an LFR at all. Don't forget, that's exactly what happened to the LC. When the first LC concept came out, it looked so radical that everybody's like, oh, that's the new LFA. And it wasn't. But the car still looked exactly like the concept vehicle, and it turned out to be an LC. So we'll see, but word on the street is that there is gonna be a V8 offered in that. Hi Dustin, would you recommend a TX or GX for my family vehicle? Great question, I have some follow-up questions. If your family vehicle is gonna be just for like going on road trips from like Niagara Falls all the way to Florida, the TX is gonna be great for that because you can have 6 people and 6 carry-on luggages and go on that huge road trip together. Or with the GX, once that third row is up, there isn't any space behind there. But maybe your family's a family of 4 and you like off-road and you like lifestyle and going to the cottage and stuff like that, maybe the GX is gonna be a little bit more fun and rugged for you. So depends on what you're gonna use it for. I would say GX if you can make it work with the space, just because it's more like there's more to it, I guess you could say. But if you need that space, the TX is the way to go. Last but not least, when is the new ES coming? Okay, so latest and greatest is in Canada, my market. March is when the hybrids are gonna arrive, and May is when the plugins are gonna arrive. I know that seems quite a long way, and I've heard lots of speculation on the internet about like, they already stopped production in Kentucky of the current model. From what I can see, that's not true. I still have cars coming in from Kentucky right now. So I think they are still producing the current ES for a little bit until they retool. But even then, we know that they're not coming until March. So we still have a lot of life left in that current body style ES 350. So there you have it, some question and answers from you, the viewers. So remember, if you do have any questions for me, you can comment on this video. You can find me on Instagram, which is @DustinMason, and you can shoot me some questions there. I do try to get to all of them and reply and have some back and forth with our viewers. And of course, let me know what you think of this video below. I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. Make sure you hit like and subscribe for more content.